Hello everyone, it's Farket here. And in this video, I'm going to showcase what I've been doing in the last 2 weeks of game development. And that is implementing and optimizing a lot of vegetables and flowers and all that sort of stuff. Now, not all of this is going to be used in the game, obviously. The purpose of this is to learn how to do it. So if I pick, say, potatoes and cabbage and carrots, for example, and just did those, I would have the product done. I wouldn't remember how I did it. But if I do a lot all at once, I'm going to retain the information. So not only am I going to learn, but I'll have a good foundation. Plus, I'll have this entire asset zoo. Now, most of this is from a Cropcraft pack, but they release it all as nanite, and I've had to convert it to LODs or LODs because I am not using nanite. That's what I believe is the biggest problem with Unreal 5. So about 70% of this is from his pack. And the rest is just stuff I've scraped together and even custom made ones like this one here. Bell pepper or capsicum. We call it capsicum in Australia. I've decided to call it that for now because peppers are too confusing. Like pepper is something spicy, like a chili, and there's actually pepper as in the spice. And I just thought, no, I'm just kind of like capsicum. But what I wanted to show you is some of the levels of optimization I've done. And this isn't running very good. I think this is running at like 40 FPS. Unreal 5 is brutal, man. Like I'm running it in like play mode in the editor right now. So like if I press escape, it actually runs a lot smoother if I'm actually in the editor. But once I hit the play, Alt P, this has all been constructed by me, except for obviously the assets weren't made by me. And this is just a little sign I did up. So it follows me around. Just a few things like hemp, for example. I'm probably not going to use this, even though it's actually quite useful as a material in a real life scenario. But I don't know the legality of it in regarding to games and stuff like that. So here's something I would like to show you. So this is probably why nanite is actually quite popular, because nanite actually prevents this crap. This is the LOD switching. So it turns from one mesh to another. So as I move back, you can see that. That's not moving. So that's a billboard. That is just 2 planes to look like a thing. Now that's switching too early. And plus it doesn't even look like what it is. I'm going to redo it. I've got a billboard maker tool and I'm going to go through and do that. But if I'm not using all these, I'm not going to go and make billboards for them all. Something I know how to do, it's easy. You'd literally just create it by like taking a photo or screenshot and then it converts into a billboard. So hard. That's why people have to use nanite, isn't it? Oh, because they can't do the simple stuff. Oh, this can easily be changed. I'll just change the distance that it changes at. So it goes on based on your screen percentage. So at like, that's at 50%, and then I get to like 75%. That's 75%, I think, or something. And then it switches. So it's just switching too early. That's easy to change. This is what people have been using for years, like decades, to optimize games. Nanite doesn't use this. It still renders the stuff. Tell me that nanite's good, eh? Yeah. I think I saved something. What was I going to do? Was it these mushrooms? No, I made LODs for them. Okay, so like here's a group of flowers that don't have any LODs. And these really, the low triangle count's only 400. So this is how easy it is to make LODs. And this is what kind of annoys me, that this nanite thing is, oh, you don't have to make LODs anymore. Yeah, custom LODs take time, I will admit. But say, a lot of the time you don't need to. If I just go to my tools, now this costs about $50. Open it up, click there, type in the location of the folder. This is all you do. I go, I want 4 LODs, not nanite. This is how you can change the percentage, so just automatically, and I just go set LODs. Now, I go back, they're all done. They got their LODs. But you gotta obviously look at them and like, let's have a look. It tells you up the top here, LOD 0. Now that's switched to LOD 1. Now I can barely tell. Oh, it's so far away. That's a fairly smooth transition. That's LOD 1, LOD 3. That's the max LOD. So I just dropped the triangle count by 75%. And you're not going to see it at that distance. So why does it even matter? So that's how easy. Like now, if I had a folder of like 1,000 meshes, it takes us about the same amount of time. Stuff's not hard to do. Man, nanite the whole thing frustrates me. I'm not going to get into it. I'm 95% certain that's what is killing Unreal 5. It's not hard to optimize meshes. You do not need nanite. The next thing I actually want to show you this while I'm here. So these have two different atlases on it. I've made, so this is the original atlas. It's at 2K. That's just the flowers that, oh, grass decided to just spawn in. And if I go to the other one, this is at 512. All I've done is move them all in here. Now I've got to move them all around on the mesh, which does take time. But when I get to the end of going to publish the game, I'll just create these things. And this is what reduces draw call. So like if you've got 1,000 textures loading, because it's not just this, you've got your normal and your roughness and metallic and eyes. Yeah, not going to go into that, but I could combine all the flowers onto one texture, one picture. And that is just crazy amounts of optimization. And I learned to do that through Photoshop. So it was cool because I got to use my old skills of being a YouTuber have come back and have followed me here. At the start, man, it didn't. This was really frustrating. Like all the skills I knew as a YouTuber did not help with this. But that's the thing, is that a lot of occupations are like that. Tell you what, man, I was a cop, and that's actually pretty much useless unless you're going into security or management. And oh man, I'm not going there. I don't know why it does this. I think this is a bug in the engine. It's showing like the transparency of the other things in there, but they're not there. I don't understand why it does that. I've been trying to find a fix because it's distracting. But also knowing Photoshop is that I can actually import images at better things. So like that's transparent. It has to be 32-bit. I could bring these other ones in 8-bit because they're not transparent. That's the normal, shows the shadows and outlines like fake shadows. I didn't remember to do this, but I made these custom cork trees. So cork is going to be a material in the game. And the tree that I got, I wonder if I can fire it up. Okay, this is a project that I keep things in that I'm not using currently. And you're wondering what I do with my spare time and stuff like this. This is what I like to mess around with. I didn't make this, but I made it the propellers and all that sort of stuff. So this was the original one. Now it does look nice and all that, but it's just too much. It was actually up to 800,000 vertices, triangles. And I tried knocking it down. I got it down to about that, and then it started looking bad. So you got to tone it off. That was another attempt. I spent so much on this tree, man. I really was getting like to the end of it. This is the last I was able to go to make it look good. As you can see, it kind of just looks too bare bone. Plus they got things like this. They're floating. I'd have to go and clean that up. It's because every leaf has been individually rendered on a plane, and that's just not good. So I ended up just using another tree from another developer. It didn't have as many C's on it, so they're not as obvious, but I had to paint them into the texture. But this one is 17,000 triangles, which is much better. I feel like I might add more acorns just to give it that thing. So, and plus I'm gonna have to modify it so you cut the cork out, reuse the tree, blah, blah, blah. And also like this guy's, so look at this. This is the material, the shader he's decided to make. He's got a tree option in there. So like if I click on this and I go to bark, I think it is. This is the bark. Yeah, he's got a tree option here. I don't really know what it's doing. You'd think it would stop the tree trunk from moving, but look at it. Like I'm not going to go switch them all when it's not necessary. I don't know what ones I'm going to be using. This is a walnut tree, and that's a therizinosaur. There's a joke between me and Brandy, the guy that's doing the programming, that he makes me things that I didn't ask for. So we call him a therizinosaur. Like he just gave that to me. You know where he's got it from, what game. But I didn't ask for it. So it's just this running joke. Like he's made me another therizinosaur. That's silly. I don't know why it's like that. The falling leaves thing's just a little VFX thing I decided to add to showcase. I should be doing it in full screen like this. So there's a lot of stuff that you just don't need to see. And these like the other trees that come with it, a lot of it. There's the saying that I've really liked of recent. It's there are no solutions, only compromises. And that saying has really helped me. I think Thomas Sowell said that. He's an economist, very smart man. And it's true. You know, you can't have everything. So that was a custom cork tree I made up. It's a chestnut tree. I don't know what it's. God, look at that. Look how bad that looks. A lime tree. This was just one that I converted from a lemon tree. So I figured they're the same species. The lemon came first and the lime was just a hybrid. The mango tree, this was a absolute nightmare, and I've got to redo it because look at this. Yummy mangoes. I stripped this thing down so much, man, and it's just still a nightmare. So it's not bad. Like, it's 77,000, which is still not good considering the fruit looks like this. This is what happens when you reduce the triangle count too much automatically. There's a feature that you can do it, but you've really got to pay attention to what's being done there. Because look at the leaves. This isn't masked. You can see the outline of the thing. I haven't masked it. This was a nanite tree and I've converted it. It's just too hard to convert nanite stuff to LOD with foliage, like trees and stuff. It's just, I'm not going to go into details, but it's just a nightmare. But that was a modified version. So like I got it down, this was 77,000 and this is the original. Oh, it's just too much. Good if you're using nanite, but you can't, this should be masked to cut out that thing. You can't mask stuff in nanite. Nanite doesn't deal with it at all well. And that's why they're going with that voxelized foliage thing. At least the mangoes actually look like mangoes. But that's another thing, like how much time do I want to spend on this, you know? Ideally what you do, or what I've been doing, is I find another tree that's similar. I'll just go hypothetically the lime tree, which is one I do custom. I can't even see the limes on it. Oh, it's been harvested, this version. Yeah, see, like that. And then what I'll do is separate the materials. So like I'd separate the lime, and then I'd just swap out the lime for the mango. But the problem is, I've had a look at mango trees, and this is actually how they look. They hang on a vine. I've got no other tree that does this. And everyone just seems to be making nanite stuff, or stuff for cinematic. So I probably won't even add mangoes to the game. It's just too much of a headache, too much work for so little result. The plan is with why they've got this tree stuff is that I've got the idea that the player can dig up trees and transport them back to their base, but you can't just chuck it in your backpack. You'll have to use like a cart to travel with them. So you've got to work for it and you've got to create something. And the bigger the tree or even objects, there's going to be machinery and stuff that you'll be able to do it with. What I plan to do. Banana tree, I had to swap that out because this banana trees was terrible. Peach tree, what did I do with this? This was another custom one. This was a nanite tree, and I tried to make it custom. This is the original 873,000. I got it down to 100,000 without strange looking fruits. But still, this is just, I don't think this is good enough. I'll just do the same thing. I'd find another tree and just transfer it over. So what I'm doing a lot of the time is actually just optimizing things to a point where I am satisfied. I don't overstep. A lot of this actually hasn't been optimized too much. I've just converted it to LODs and haven't really played around with the percentages. And the wind and the movement stuff, I'm just going to have everything running on the one material object basically. And then I tie it to the weather system, which is ultra dynamic sky. Like, that's it. And then I tie it to that. And then when the weather changes, the wind changes and it's all linked together. Clear skies, no clouds. Yeah, I compared the try count on those from my... Let's have a look in wireframe mode. Oh, I can't even see it. There's one there. Look at that piece of fruit. Doesn't it look appetizing? It's like I'm making a PlayStation 2 game. And yeah, I already did that one too. I'm probably not going to use these mushrooms. I think they're called porcini mushrooms. Porcini? I don't know what that is. I don't know anything about mushrooms. Let's have a look at the triangle count. I'll switch it. So that's at lot 1. Like, I don't understand why it needs to be that thing. I got some other white button mushrooms. That doesn't look very... I might have to up the poly count. Yeah, but the thing is, you're never that close. You always like, say, like, I don't know, 5 foot away. So it doesn't look too bad from there. You can see the triangle count. But that was 200, and these are, to be fair, that's 3 mushrooms in one. That's 6,400. So one of the easiest ways to do it, and this is easy, but you've really got to be paying attention. So I've done all my modeling in Unreal. What I've learned is that a lot of people actually don't know how to do this because people have been using Blender for so long. This is actually quite new. I can stay in the engine a lot, and I really like that. Simplify, and I switch that to the Unreal Standard, and you can change the percentage. See, like that looks fine. This is what it looks like, but it's showing you in real time what it's doing with the lighting system that the engine uses and what your game's going to be using. So also look at close up. You see the grass doesn't look very good, eh? And then we start dropping it down, and then you go as far as See, it's starting to, yeah, 3%. It's probably a little bit too far. You know what I mean? Because it also starts affecting the UVs, the way the textures are. It'll start stretching. I think you could see some stretching there. Yeah. So you don't go too low. So like, it's better to go safe, I think. And then later on, you could always go and touch it. But like that, boom. And now it was 6,000, it's down to 1,700. And man, I can't tell the difference. Oh, I think I can if I look close. I can start seeing the edges around the thing there. Yeah. So yes, I'm making game development look very easy. And the thing is, parts of it are. The thing is, this stuff can be really boring if you're not into it, I think. But you can see the LODs changing in wireframe mode. I don't play games often, but when I do, I'm often hitting Alt-2, which just gives you to switch to the wireframe mode. And yeah, it doesn't work. It's useful. You got other ones like this is unlit. You've probably seen this in games before. This used to happen when you went under the map in the forest. So what unlit means, like the lighting system isn't running. Now, none of this is interactable currently. This isn't actually running very well, by the way. I think this is running at about 45 to 50 FPS, just this level. And the reason it's not running well, because I'm doing it in the engine. So it's running a lot of stuff in the background. But it's also like how much optimization you need to put into this engine to get a game to run well. You got to do a lot. Freaking hell, like, well, there's not a lot here. Well, there is, but there isn't. This is all this there is. But there could be things like I got rid of puddles. I had puddles along here to make it look more cool. I think it was just lagging it too much. But I also got a lot of VFX like the butterflies, and that's changed the path to like a landscape. So this is what an interactable one. You just press on it. And so far, it's just stripping the thing. I do not know how to just take the berries off it. Look at these pentagon berries. I made this when I first started, so it was not very good. I don't think it was. And I'm not having things crumble as well. They're just sink into the ground. Because you got to use geometry, and that's just making the game run worse. Now, this is another thing I forgot to cover. I thought I separated this so I could find it. Oh, here it is. So this is rapeseed. Yeah, this is what they use in real life for canola oil. This was actually hard to find. I had to go to CG Trader to find this. The problem is that it's not very optimized. So like this one, which is that one, 44,000 triangles. And this is my version here. Needs a little bit of work, I think, still. Like you can see the floating leaf in that there. But let's turn the landscape off. So yeah, you can see the differences. The thing is, you're not going to be that close. This is what you got to keep in mind when you're doing this stuff. So I had to make trade-offs. You can probably see where things are missing now that I focus on it. But, you know, you move the thing back, it's not as noticeable. But I went from 44,000 to 4,300. So what's that? 90% decrease in triangles. And it's, yeah, that's the same with these ones. This was, I got it down to 3,100. It was originally at basically 19,000. And this one, it was at 15 or 16,000, and I got it down to 2,000. Oh yeah, it's about 80%, I think. There's trade-offs. Like if you spend all your time in the engine, like, oh, look at this, you know. This is the LODs actually working, see? As I get further away, the LODs switching on. So I did put LODs on these. It's actually, what's interesting is that because I've spent so much time editing these things, if I could start again with the knowledge I have, I could create a lot of this stuff myself. I don't actually need to, I probably wouldn't need to buy a lot. It just takes time. But editing it helped me learn it. This is another thing I've been kind of working on as a way to, these aren't a good example actually, because the colors are completely off. But so like you've got a few of the ones on top, and then you put a plane underneath. What's probably the closest looking one? This one, maybe? There's a flat plane there. I tried using AI for this, man. Oh man, God. You could tell it was AI. So I started using real free images. It's even started taking a few photos when I'm at the grocery store. And the last thing I wanted to cover is the flowers I'm going to be using. Now, originally I just started throwing in whatever flowers I could find, like just whatever color, and just made up a variation. But then I thought it started looking too fantasy, because it was like, oh, I'm just picking whatever looks like it will fit. So I decided to do it properly, and I had to throw away a lot of the foliage, that layouts and stuff I had optimized. This is just the nature of what this is. I'll make it full screen. And went through and started making proper ones, like using real flowers. Now, the thing is, a lot of these, when I actually had names on them, a lot of these ones look like I got an angry face on them. I went through and decided to start using real ones. This is one's actually from Sons of the Forest, a yarrow. Apparently it's edible. A lot of these are actually edible, but at this point in time, this is just decoration. God, that grass doesn't look good, eh? So many gaps. So yeah, this is a good example of a LOD system that is completely messed up. Like, look at that. And then it switches again. Look at that. I think I've got quite a few hollyhocks. I don't know anything about flowers, so it's been quite educational. Certain things like goldenrod I know about because, 7 Days to Die. And what's that? Yarrow. It's funny how you can learn so much from a game. You don't want too much of this similar thing. So this is currently what I've got it set out. This is just randomly grouping it up and placing it around the world. Mixes it in with grass and tries to keep things looking natural using procedural content generation. I was meant to get rid of this one because it's too low down. You can't really see it's there. I was going to replace it with Morning Glory. I'm trying to keep the colors in a variation. I know what a lot I'm showing isn't really a game and that, but that is coming. That will be shown in due time. The thing is, I'm creating something that hasn't been done before. So when I present it, I want to present it right. It's been done before in many different genres of games. It's just taking all those elements and putting into one. That's what it hasn't been done. So it's been a bit tricky. I'm just not interested in creating something that's already been created before. Too many survival games are too similar. But this grass is fully rendered. It's not masked, so hopefully increases performance. Because everything's rendered in triangles, doing grass is actually quite easy because a lot of it, you can see that one just there. It's one triangle. See? Three-pointed. GPUs like triangles and not polygons like squares and stuff. Things like dandelions, man, these are really actually considered a weed a lot. So I don't know if I'd include it. The game is set in the future, but it's been kind of restored to the Stone Age. What I'm trying to do is to justify this, right, is that we have a problem currently where pesticides and stuff we use on plants is killing bees. Now, if we kill bees, we're screwed. So how do you get around it? You genetically modify all the weeds to run them out of existence so you don't have to use pesticides. So the world's going to look very beautiful. But I'm not making a utopia. I don't want to make a dystopia. But, the way the world is it's getting better and worse at the same time. And that's where I think, realistically, a world's not going to become tyrannical, an over-flooded dystopia. If anything, our population is decreasing. So I don't think there's going to be many people in the future. We'll see that. Morning Glory, I have this, I don't know why I've put the petals over it. That mixes it up. I try to identify these two. They're definitely not quite the same flower, but ignore the pink stuff. That's just the decal and it's rubbing up on top of it. Does RTS mode still work? It's following me around. I didn't even bother to check that. Okay. And yeah, third person. That's a good prediction, I think, of what would happen in the future. To prevent us using pesticides, we'll just genetically modify things probably out of existence. Weeds and invasive plants and stuff. And that way we don't have to use that stuff. This was a confusing one because I was just doing reverse image search. I tried using AI, but AI was just terrible. I really need someone who knows flowers to help me with a lot of this stuff, but it's not necessary right now. But yeah, I thought a frangipani was a tree. So I didn't realize it was a flower, but I don't think it is. So I think that might be just incorrect. I'm at a point now where I could make custom ones, but man, I've already paid for all this stuff. I'm not stealing anything because I want to get sued. This one's cool. This is a eucalyptus one. This is actually a strain, but I haven't seen it before. I'm going to show you. There's a lot of it. So yeah, I'm not using all these flowers, but this is a collection I've got. I'm stopping here. I don't think a bonsai would grow like sort of like this. I don't think it would. But yeah, so I'm trying to keep it grounded in reality. So like, it's kind of what I want. without the grass being so disturbingly bad. And I'd have to fill it out more. It's going to be lush, but I've got to do it in a way that's going to keep it performant, because foliage is pretty much one of the main killers of performance in a game, because there's so much of it. Look how much grass there is. That's all rendering, you know? But, you know, you got to break it up. And that's what I thought, patches of flowers. I don't know if flowers would actually grow like this in like meadows and stuff. But yeah, that's where I think I'm at. So yeah, I sort of showcase kind of what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. And I think if I can do this and stay on top of it, I should be able to do one every 2 weeks. It helps me keep track of things too, like what I've been working on. It's like I did that whole character stuff. I spent a month on that. So many outfits, it's ridiculous. Oh, the duck. That's just there because my daughter likes ducks, so I put a duck in there. Yep. I forgot one for this. Apparently this is barley. Yeah. So yeah, as I mentioned, this is just what I've been working on the last 2 weeks and nothing else. So I've done a lot. It's just I haven't showcased it. But in due time, I will. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers.